is a festive atmosphere here in Charlotte, North Carolina for tonight's sold-out Dr. Pepper ACC Championship game. Tens of thousands of Virginia Tech and Florida State fans haven't let a cold, damp day dampen their enthusiasm, and both schools have much to be excited about. Virginia Tech has won 10 straight games, led by ACC Player of the Year quarterback Tyrod Taylor. Florida State has 9 wins for just the second time in the last 6 seasons. But Christian Ponder, their quarterback, has a sore right elbow. Will he start, or will it be EJ Manuel, a dual threat who's been an effective stand-in for Ponder the last 2 years? No matter who the quarterback is, the Noles are fired up and ready to battle Virginia Tech in the ACC Championship game. This is the 2010 Dr. Pepper ACC Championship game between 2 of the top 21 teams in the country, Virginia Tech and Florida State. Good evening, everybody, and welcome. I'm Sean McDonough. Delighted to have you with us. There is breaking news in the moments leading up to the opening kickoff. A big question as to who the starting quarterback will be tonight for Florida State. Christian Ponder, their 3-year starter, has battled courageously through much of the season, shoulder injuries, and recently an elbow problem. Let's get more on the story. Here's Heather Cox.
Sean, moments ago, Jimbo Fisher did confirm that redshirt sophomore EJ Manuel will start over star quarterback Christian Ponder. Now, both warmed up, but Coach Fisher said ultimately the decision came down to Ponder's long-term health. Now, for the last few weeks, they've been draining that injured right elbow, but this most recent drainage, blood as well as the typical fluid came out, which was certainly cause for concern for the team of doctors and Coach Fisher. Florida State fans, though, don't be alarmed. Manuel is 4-1 as a starter, and Sean, he's known for playing big in big-time games.
Yes, indeed, he is. He did start 1 game this year for Christian Ponder against Clemson, led them to a victory. How does it affect the game for Florida State tonight?
Well, the good news for Florida State is he's no stranger to this situation. He's been around it. I spoke to him before the game. He felt confident about it. He was throwing the ball very well. What changes a little bit with him, he's more of an accomplished runner than Christian Ponder. So I would expect to see a little bit more of the option game, which has been in Ponder's run. Manuel runs it a little bit better. The key will be how well he is able to see down the field and decipher what's going on. That was the one thing that they thought he needed, a little bit more experience.
The Virginia Tech Hokies, one of the great stories in college football this season, started the year very disappointing 0-2. It could have unraveled, but just the opposite happened. They have won 10 straight games, led by Tyrod Taylor, like EJ Manuel, a dual threat.
All right, when you watch Tyrod Taylor, he's a joy to watch. And he's the ACC Player of the Year for a reason. Because he can beat you one of 2 ways. He can beat you with his feet, which we've seen many times before, and he can beat you with his arm. But the good news for the Hokies this year is that he's combined both. And now he'll take off and run, buy the time, use his eyes, keep him down the field, and he's been very accurate. So I think that's the big news for him. And oh, by the way, he's got a heck of a complement and some runners behind him.
3 very talented running backs behind Tyrod Taylor. They are our Dr. Pepper impact players. Darren Evans, David Wilson, and Ryan Williams.
And all three of them give you something different. Evans is the big power back, likes to run inside. Wilson has speed. They'll use him outside, get him in space. And Williams is the guy who can do both. He's got great feet in the hole, runs behind his pads well. I'm excited to watch these 3.
Here come the Seminoles. Off a rousing victory last week over their rivals, the University of Florida, as they ended a 6-game losing streak at the hands of the Gators. And just a moment ago, the Virginia Tech Hokies took the field here at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. They have the edge in fan volume in this stadium. They're only about 2.5 hours from their campus in Blacksburg, Virginia. The history has not been kind, however, for the Hokies against Florida State. The Seminoles have won 13 of the last 14 meetings between these 2 schools. The great Virginia Tech coach Frank Beamer's just 1-8 against Florida State. They met in the first ACC championship game back in 2005. That one was won by Florida State in Jacksonville, 27-22. Virginia Tech won the toss and elected to defer. So the Hokies in white will kick off. Justin Meyer has a very strong leg. Slipped as he approached the ball on this wet field. And the return to the 34-yard line for Florida State. So here comes Manuel, redshirt sophomore from Virginia Beach, Virginia. We mentioned he started and defeated Clemson in a solid performance in week 10 a little less than a month ago. They won that game 16-13.
Sean, what I'll be interested to see is how Bud Foster, the defensive coordinator, adjusts to the running style of Manuel.
Play action fake by Manuel and a deep throw across midfield. Taiwan Easterling for Florida State fights his way down to the 38-yard line. Antone Exum and Kyle Fuller combine on the stop. 29 yards and a great start for the backup EJ Manuel.
Well, and it doesn't take long for Jimbo Fisher, the primary play caller and head coach, to serve notice, to say, look, this is what you're going to be seeing all night long. We're going to move him. You're going to have to defend both his feet and his arm.
Jimbo Fisher has had a terrific first year as head coach at Florida State. 9-3, most wins by a first-year head coach in the history of the program. Hoping for a 10th win tonight with a bowl game still to come. Manuel, a deep throw on target, but Easterling could not hang on as he got popped by the safety, Eddie Whitley.
Well protected. He's able to take his time and survey the field. Now it's a zone. So he's got to get the ball over the top of Whitley, which he does. A little high. Ball should have been caught by Easterling. I like the poise of this Manuel. I mean, like we said, Sean, this is not new territory to him. He's done this before.
They stepped in at the end of last year when Ponder was hurt. Went 3-1 as the starting quarterback at the end of last season. Chris Thompson, the ball carrier, down to the 33-yard line for a gain of 5. It'll be 3rd down and 5. Here's the starting lineup for Florida State on offense, averaging 32 points per game. Thompson, part of a running back by committee approach for the Seminoles. Burt Reed is their leading receiver and a veteran offensive line. That group has combined for 174 career starts. Rodney Hudson, again this year, won the Jacobs Trophy as the best offensive lineman in the ACC. 2nd year in a row he's won that. And he's been first team All-ACC 3 times. First down, they convert on 3rd down to Rodney Smith. 22-yard line. Gain of 12, 1st and 10, Seminoles.
Sean, you spoke about this group right here. Outstanding protection. And allows Manuel to be able to not only look to his first read, he comes back and goes to his second read. That can only be done because of his protection. But what confidence. And he's playing within himself. This is an impressive start for Manuel.
Chris Thompson is the tailback. He gets the carry and got a yard. One of the reasons Manuel might be effective tonight is that Virginia Tech uncharacteristically has struggled defensively against the run. They're 68th in the country against the run. Stephen Friday, John Graves, Antoine Hopkins, and Chris Drager, the front 4. The leading tackler on the team is Bruce Taylor, along with Lindell Gibson and Jaron Gavea-Winslow. And in the secondary, Fuller's a true freshman. Davon Morgan, Eddie Whitley, and J-Ron Hosley leads the country in interceptions with 8. Manuel showing his running skills inside the 15. Chopped down at the 14, 2 yards short of the first down by Lindell Gibson and J-Ron Hosley.
This is the dimension that Florida State does not have when they have Ponder. Now, this is a legitimate runner. This is a big man. This is Cam Newton-esque. He's 235 pounds. He's 6'4.5", and he can run. A long strider, but good toughness, not afraid to stick it up inside. And Bud Foster, their defensive coordinator, he's going to have to adjust to that.
Ty Jones has committed running back as Manuel goes out of the gun on 3rd down and 2. Given plenty of time again, has a man open, and it's incomplete. Easterling had it knocked away by Eddie Whitley.
Good defensive play by Whitley. But, boy, you cannot have a more impressive opening series if you're the backup quarterback than this. That ball is right there. Exactly where it had to be. That's a catch that has to be made. Whitley jumps in his face at the end, but Easterling should be having 6 right there.
There's 2 drops on the opening drive by Easterling. So here's Dustin Hopkins, sophomore from Houston, who's 17 for 23 for the year. From just inside the right hash mark. And it is good. Well, Christian Ponder could not start. EJ Manuel did, and he was very impressive on the opening drive. That results in 3 points. It caused some frustration for Frank Beamer. Florida State with a 3-0 lead as the Seminoles score on their opening possession. EJ Manuel 2 for 4 passing on that drive for 41 yards, but the 2 incompletions were both dropped by Taiwan Easterling. Dustin Hopkins, the 31-yard field goal, 8-play, 53-yard drive for the Seminoles. So now Hopkins will kick off. 36 touchbacks this season. Second highest total in the country. Only Oklahoma State has had more touchbacks. He has a very strong leg. It's a line drive. It scoots by J-Ron Hosley. So the Hokies will begin at the 20, led by Tyrod Taylor. 41st career start. 33-7, by far the most wins for any quarterback in school history, and they've had some outstanding quarterbacks. One of those 7 defeats was against Florida State in a game it was a little unfair to have on his record. He was injured the first play of the game in 2008 and did not play thereafter, but still took a loss as the starting quarterback. That was the last meeting between these 2 teams in 2008. After the fake, Taylor running away from trouble and throwing it away. Let's take a look at the rest of the offense for Virginia Tech around Tyrod Taylor. They're averaging 35 points per game, best in the ACC. Williams, part of that 3-headed running back attack. And like Florida State, a veteran offensive line, particularly on the right side. Warren, the center, his 25th career start. Brooks, his 27th. And Christopher, the right tackle, his 36th career start. Brooks was all ACC at right guard, and the Christopher second team all ACC right tackle. Ryan Williams straight ahead. They got 9, came up a yard short of the first down. Florida State, a much improved defensive unit over a year ago under first-year coordinator Mark Stoops. They lead the ACC in sacks and second in the nation with 43. The leading tackler is the linebacker Nigel Bradham. And in the secondary, Xavier Rhodes, the freshman, the ACC Defensive Rookie of the Year. Singled out by Mark Stoops for particularly outstanding performance so far this year. On 3rd and 1, Williams has the first down, stays on his feet, and made the 37-yard line. Warriors tripped up by Anthony McLeod and Terrence Parks. A run of 9 for Williams, who missed 4.5 games this year with a torn left hamstring. He's just worked his way back in recent weeks.
And he's all the way back. Had a chance to speak with him yesterday, and he was excited about it. This is the first time that he's felt 100%, and this is the best of the 3. This is a legit running back.
Well, he has the best combination of inside and outside running ability. Evans is a bruiser inside. Wilson has excellent speed. Great bounce to the outside by Williams on another first down. Run out of bounds across midfield at the Florida State 49 by Xavier Rhodes, 14 yards.
You mentioned him being the best all around, and this is what I mean by legit. He's the complete package. He has outstanding feet in the hole. He can make you miss. He can run behind his pads. By that I mean he's powerful. Not in terms of just carrying guys. He can run through people. But his vision, he sees everything, and he can get to where he sees. And that is unique. Not everybody sees the same thing. Not everybody can get there. He can do that.
Last year as a redshirt freshman, he set the single season school rushing record with 1,655 yards. Taylor slipped but didn't go down. Throws it incomplete. Looking for Jarrett Boykin, their leading receiver, with Xavier Rhodes in coverage.
This is just an example of great balance. Like Tyrod Taylor, his feet are going to go away from him. He's able to get his hand down and keep his balance. And then Xavier Rhodes on the top. He's just a freshman. This kid is a really good player. One of the biggest improvements that this Florida State defense made was him.
2nd and 10. Ryan Williams buried for a loss of about 4. Marcus White, the senior defensive end from West Palm Beach, with the stop. Mark Stoops, what a job he has done. Came over from Arizona, where he was defensive coordinator for his brother Mike. Turned that defense around. Inherited a group here at Florida State that was 108th in the country in total defense last year. And this year they're 39th. More importantly, they went from 94th in the country to 11th. They're giving up less than 18 points per game. Last year they gave up 30 per game. 3rd and long, 3rd and 14. Not much pressure on Taylor. And it's incomplete along the near sideline for Marcus Davis, with Greg Reed in coverage.
He had nowhere to throw that ball. Good coverage down the field. You're going to watch Reed, number 5. He's going to take the outside receiver. But anywhere you want to look, there is a Florida State Seminole around a respective receiver. Good coverage all the way around.
So Greg Reed back to return the punt. He has 2 career punt returns for touchdowns. Brian Saunders, the punter, leading the ACC at 44.4 per punt. Hasn't had 1 block this year. These 2 programs both have excelled in recent years at blocking kicks. Fair catch made by Reed at the 16-yard line. The winner will be heading to the Discover Orange Bowl, the BCS bowl game. The loser will play in the Chick-fil-A Bowl in Atlanta. Chris Thompson, the ball carrier. The ball is out, but there are whistles, and they're going to mark Thompson down just shy of the 20-yard line.
Watch Chris Thompson going in. You can see his north side of a southbound runner is down right there before the ball pops out.
Well, he was down since about the middle of Fan Fest last night. Thompson has outstanding speed. Behind Manuel, goes under center. Faked it to Thompson, who threw a nice block, and the pass is intercepted. And it's going to be run in for a touchdown by Gouveia Winslow. Jaron Gouveia Winslow, his 2nd interception of his sophomore season, returned at 26 yards. Virginia Tech with a 7-3 lead after the extra point by Chris Hazley.
Jaron Gouveia Winslow, he gets the benefit of Bruce Taylor right here. Taylor does just as good a job as you can do of locating the receiver, finding the ball, and tipping it. And Gouveia Winslow takes it back. Now, he is the son of Kurt Gouveia, who I had a chance to play with the Washington Redskins. And Kurt Gouveia had the best instincts maybe that I've ever seen on a football field. And it looks like his son has those same things.
2nd defensive touchdown this season for the Hokies. They've officially changed it to a 24-yard return for Jaron Gouveia Winslow. Justin Meyer kicks off. Beamer says he has a strong leg. Problem is he doesn't always know where it's going. It went to LaMarcus Joyner, who couldn't hang on and downed it. Chris Thompson ahead for 2. 8 minutes to go, first quarter. The ACC Championship presented by Dr. Pepper. Virginia Tech leading Florida State 7-3.
You know, Sean, the guy who made that play the last series, Bruce Taylor, and what an active guy. What a good guy. We had a nice chance to sit down and talk to him, and great personality. Knows he's still learning how to play that position, but he's been getting better, and he's gotten better from the beginning of the season all the way through, and where his biggest area has been in his coverage.
Manuel in trouble on the rollout and drop for a loss. Back at the 19-yard line, Stephen Friday, the defensive end, senior out of Hampton, Virginia, and second team all-conference this season, with the tackle for a loss, his 15th of the year.
Well, he just actually helped himself by slipping. Zebri Sanders was going to try to hook him, and he slipped right at the start. And because he was able to get going before Sanders could, he comes up and makes a big play.
Three wide receivers now on 3rd down and 11 for EJ Manuel. Quarterback draw. And they weren't fooled. Lindell Gibson, the middle linebacker.
And that's just smart by Jimbo Fisher, just to let the offense just settle down. It's okay to punt right there. Not a big deal. Let your defense get back on the field, and they're fine.
And there's Sean Powell, junior from Rome, Georgia, 3rd in the ACC at 43.9 per punt, and a dangerous J-Ron Hosley back deep. He's returned one for a touchdown this year. Catches it at the 34. Gets a block. Didn't go very far. He told us yesterday, I always make the first dude miss. He made the first dude miss, but the second dude did not. Mr. Alexander, the tackle. First down, Virginia Tech leading 7-3. They set up a screen to Ryan Williams, and he's chopped down along the near sideline of the 40-yard line after a 5-yard gain. Good reaction to the play by Nick Moody, the sophomore free safety, their 3rd leading tackler.
Well, Sean, you and I had the opportunity to watch this Florida State defense against Oklahoma week 2 of this season, and what a difference between then and now. It shows up in their speed. It shows up in their secondary, and because of that, I think it's helped their defensive line, particularly Marcus White and Brandon Jenkins, their defensive ends.
Darren Evans is checked in now at running back. And gets the call straight ahead through the defense. They have an angle on him, and they knock him out of bounds near the 10-yard line. Mr. Alexander with the stop. They'll mark it at the 9. 1st and goal, Hokies. 51-yard run for Evans.
Now this is just power football up inside. Watch to Christopher right there. Here's the opportunity. And because he got up the field too far, he gets past him. And then Evans just hits another gear that not a lot of people think he has. But it's obvious on this one that he does.
First and goal from the 9. Evans again inside the 5 into the end zone. Touchdown, Virginia Tech.
They like the right side of that offensive line. Sean, you mentioned it at the start. That's the most experienced part of their offensive line, and they have a lot of confidence in it.
And Darren Evans took advantage of the great blocking on that side of the line to score his 11th rushing touchdown of the season. Chris Paisley adds the extra point. 14-3 Hokies. 4.5 to go, first quarter. Darren Evans the touchdown, as the Hokies needed just 3 plays to go 65 yards. Evans had runs of 51 yards and 9 yards. 51-yarder, just 3 shy of the longest run of his career. And great work by that offensive line.
Particularly those two right there, 68, 62. James Brooks and to Christopher.
Justin Meyer bounced the kickoff down to Greg Reed across the 30 before he got stood up. A man open again, and it is caught. Willie Halstead couldn't stay on his feet. If he had, it was a touchdown. He went down at the 3-yard line. 1st and goal, Knowles.
Sean, that's a good hands play. And a double move. And he makes him bite. And Kyle Fuller, he bites like a big dog. Halstead comes down with it, not before he falls, and gives him 1st and goal.
That was the true freshman Fuller who went for the double move, and then Ty Jones punched it in. Touchdown, Florida State.
Just power. Just power inside and lower your pads. Just run right through. Really well done. And Exum, number 1, Anton Exum, learns the same lesson that Mr. Alexander did. Wrap the ball carrier. Don't hit him.
Dustin Hopkins has now made 81 consecutive PATs. And with 2 minutes to go in the first quarter, Florida State responds and is back within 4. EJ Manuel is 3 out of 3 on that drive for 61 yards as they went 68 yards on 6 plays. Hopkins kicks off. Down to the 1. J-Ron Hosley will not make the 20.
See how they dropped that safety down, and then Tyrod Taylor changed it at the line of scrimmage.
Play action pass, and he fires, and it was almost intercepted. Great move on the ball by Greg Reed to break it up. Marcus Davis, the intended receiver.
Greg Reed does the right thing and he breaks it up, but Marcus Davis is going to learn he's got to come back to the football, because Reed does just that. He tracks the ball nicely, well protected. He knows where he wants to go with the ball. Marcus Davis never comes back to the football, and because of that, Reed is able to break it up. See, he waits right there. Another step forward, and there's a completion.
Reed was honorable mention All ACC this year. Mark Stoops says he has superstar potential, just 5'8". David Wilson, the ball carrier, driven back after a 1-yard gain by Anthony McLeod. It'll set up a 3rd down and long for the Hokies. That might be the last play of the first quarter. It has been an entertaining back and forth first 15 minutes.
And well officiated. That was a good call right there. They already had the ball marked. Stops right there.
We have Doug Rhodes supervising officials in the booth here, so of course,
pretty much
an early Valentine for the officials. But it's true. The praise is well deserved. These are the best officials. They've all been graded all season long, and these are the highest rated officials at each position. It's not a crew that's worked together. It's the highest rated official at his position. So congratulations to them for earning their appearances here in the Dr. Pepper ACC Championship Game. 14-10 Hokies after 1. And welcome back to ESPN College Football Prime Time and the 2010 Dr. Pepper ACC Championship Game from Charlotte, North Carolina. Ice skaters out last night. Cold enough for ice skating. 24 points in that first quarter between the two teams combined, the most ever in one quarter in the 6-year history of the ACC Championship Game. First time Charlotte has hosted this game. Taylor on 3rd down and 9 as a man wide open after the scramble. Danny Cole, first down to the 49-yard line. Brandon Jenkins, the defensive end, ran downfield to make the tackle after a 28-yard gain.
Well, Danny Cole should go back and thank Tyrod Taylor, because this is all on the feet of Taylor. We spoke about it on the front end. He makes the first guy miss and finds that hole in the zone. Watch Cole. He's going to sit on top of the underneath defender. Taylor finds him.
3 for 7 for Tyrod. Leading the ACC in pass efficiency is Taylor. And a nice catch there by Marcus Davis on the short throw. He managed to turn it into a 5-yard gain. Perhaps even 6. They're going to mark it at the 34. Good for 6 yards. Greg Reed shoved him out.
And this is what they really like about Marcus Davis. Now, he's a big man. He's only a sophomore, barely 20 years old. He's 6'4", 230 pounds, and he can control the ball. He's big hands. He controls the ball well. There are parts of his game, like we showed you earlier. He must learn how to come back to the ball and those type of things, but he's got a bright future.
High formation now behind Tyrod Taylor. Fake to Wilson. Deep down the middle, and it is incomplete. Broken up by Terrence Parks. It was intended for Andre Smith, the senior tight end from Germantown, Maryland.
And Tyrod Taylor would love to have that one back. He pulled the string on it. Just a little too much. If he'd have put that on the line, he'd had a completion and a big play. Instead, it hangs the tad, and Parks is able to come over and break it up.
Third down and 4. Taylor lofts it out for Wilson. Slowed down enough by Xavier Rhodes to allow the rest of the defenders, including Kendall Smith and Brandon Jenkins, to stop him, because if Rhodes didn't slow him up, he was gone.
They're going to bring a blitz inside, and then they're going to take Wilson and run him to the outside. And so even though the blitz doesn't get there, the coverage can't also get there. And Wilson just uses his speed and runs under that.
10-yard gain and a first down at the 24-yard line. Virginia Tech on the move, trying to add to a 4-point lead. Wilson as a hole, and has almost 8 yards before he was stopped by Nick Moody and Terrence Parks, the safeties.
And we talked about David Wilson and his kind of freakish athleticism. And there's things that he does at practice. We were at practice watching him, and he will simulate a play, and he'll run it full speed, and then he'll stop right in the middle and run backwards, step for step, like you're playing a Madden game.
Yeah, like you're running a film back.
It's amazing. And everybody stops and watches it, and it's amazing the way he does it. Great muscle memory.
Runs a 4.33 40. At media day last year, he did 8 consecutive backflips across their field. He's in trouble here and stacked up for a loss of a yard. Earlier this year, he climbed their basketball arena, jumped up on top of Castle Coliseum, climbed up some pillars, had a buddy of his take a picture of it with a camera phone to prove that he got up there. He's an interesting young man. Wears a shirt and tie to class every day. Show respect for the educational process. Did that throughout high school as well. Ryan Williams has come in for him on another big third down and 5 from the 19. They are in field goal range for Chris Hazley. Taylor. The rush man fell down, and it's a touchdown to Jared Boykin.
Wow, Sean. Wow is all you can say for Tyrod Taylor. What great awareness. Senses the pressure, bails to the other side, eyes down the field. That's how you play quarterback.
We talked to Mark Stoops, the defensive coordinator for Florida State, the other day. Said you want to blitz Tyrod Taylor, but you're so afraid because when you get a good rush on him, he can take those couple of extra steps in retreat to get himself some room and then throw a pass. And that's what he did there. Went all the way back to the 32-yard line before he threw a 19-yard touchdown pass to Boykin. Hazley the extra point, and the Hokies lead 21-10 here in the second quarter. Sean McDonough, Matt Millen, Heather Cox back in Charlotte. The Dr. Pepper ACC Championship. Tyrod Taylor just took Virginia Tech on a 91-yard drive in 13 plays. Second longest drive in the history of the ACC Championship game. Virginia Tech had a 93-yard drive in the inaugural game back in 2005 against Florida State. Tyrod was 6 out of 8 on that drive for 78 yards and the touchdown. LaMarcus Joyner brings back the kickoff of Justin Meyer, and he got chopped down. Slow start, but he's gotten a lot better. EJ Manuel comes out throwing after the play fake, and he found Bo Relaford, the tight end. He appears to have a first down, and does, out to the 34-yard line, a gain of 12. Tripped up by Eddie Whitley.
Well, Jimbo Fisher knows what he has right now with Manuel, and he has a guy who can get to the edge and keep his eyes down the field. And so that's the third time that he has successfully used that play. We're going to see a healthy dose of it, and they'll continue to use it until Virginia Tech can stop it.
Seminoles on the move. Manuel not on the move. Taken down to the line of scrimmage by Lindell Gibson, sophomore middle linebacker from Virginia Beach.
Yeah, 5'11", 235 pounds, runs very well, and has good understanding. See, they like his ability to blitz, and so they take him from the middle and put him on the outside, cover across the front, and then he has a feel. You know, some guys have a knack for blitzing and some guys don't. Gibson does.
Fourth tackle of the game for Gibson. Option for Manuel, forced to pitch it. Back to Chris Thompson, and Gibson took him across the boundary. Here's Halstead, broke a tackle and advanced inside the 20. Davon Morgan made the stop for Virginia Tech, but it's a first down after a 25-yard completion to Halstead, who's having a big first half.
Again, just a sophomore, and a nice route. See, at the top of his route, he took one extra step, and because he did that, he gained separation from the defender.
3 catches for Halstead for 73 yards. Returned last week after missing the previous game against Maryland with a concussion. Ty Jones turned the corner. He's near another first down. They're going to give him most of that run down near the 10-yard line. It'll be second and less than a yard after a 9-yard gain for the junior from Tampa.
Well, it's clear that this Florida State offense likes to get to the edges. They've been getting to the edges all night long, which means they're doing a nice job of securing the edges, meaning of the interior from defensive end to defensive end. They're getting that block, which allows them to get to the corner.
On 2nd and 1, a first down. Ty Jones to the 6-yard line. Without Jermaine Thomas again this week, junior running back. He's part of the three-pronged attack, just like Virginia Tech tailback, but Thomas is out for the 3rd game in a row with a sprained knee. He was their leading rusher last year.
When they're running on the inside, they like that left side. 67 Andrew Datko, 62 Rodney Hudson. Hudson's the one who's up for the outlet.
4-year starter and left guard for Florida State, and they run behind him. Now bounced outside. Touchdown, Ty Jones.
Sean, you mentioned it, the aforementioned Rodney Hudson right there, and then Datko, 67, and they just run right behind him. Just a nice job all the way around, and a good job also by Lonnie Pryor, the fullback. It's a hat on a hat. It's assignment football. Jones does the rest.
We're going to review it to make sure it was a touchdown.
Looks like it was. Where's the ball when his knee hits? Ooh, it's close. Where's the ball? Yeah, that looks like it's breaking the plane.
So a 6-yard run, a 10-play, 78-yard drive. And Jones carried 3 times on the drive for 20 yards. His second TD of the night. And Dustin Hopkins adds the extra point to get Florida State back within 4. Here's Heather Cox.
Thanks so much, Coach. You made the gutsy call to start your sophomore quarterback, EJ Manuel. How would you evaluate the way he played the first half?
I think he's done a great job. I mean, they made a great play down there and the ball got deflected. But other than he's moved the ball, been great on 3rd down, led us well, thrown the ball well. I thought he's led our team very well.
Now, Virginia Tech really has a quadruple running threat with 3 running backs and a quarterback. How do you like the way you've defended the run so far?
It's solid. We give up a couple big 3rd downs and a couple plays. We got to get a little bit better there and just clean up, don't turn it over again, and we'll have a good second half.
Jimbo, we'll let you get to your team. Thank you.
Halftime, the Dr. Pepper ACC Championship game. Virginia Tech leading Florida State 21-17. Let's head to the studio for the Wendy's halftime report. And welcome back to ESPN College Football Prime Time and the 2010 Dr. Pepper ACC Championship game. At the half, Virginia Tech with a 4-point lead over Florida State. Stats just about even. Of course, the big play in the game was the deflected pass, the interception by Gavea Winslow of Virginia Tech, which he ran in for a touchdown.
Yeah, and I thought, Sean, in the first half, I thought the quarterback play on both sides was terrific. And you couldn't ask for more than what they got out of Manuel. And Tyrod Taylor has been whatever they've asked him to be. And then I think the running game has been the difference so far. And that's for the Virginia Tech Hokies. They've run the ball very well. Let's see if they can continue it here in the second half.
Dustin Hopkins will kick off for Florida State. David Wilson, J-Ron Holsey back deep again on this wet grass field. The kicker slips. Wilson scooped it up at the 15. And is out to the 33. Here's Heather Cox.
Guys, some changes for Virginia Tech. I talked to Frank Beamer, and he said with EJ Manuel in at quarterback, they need to make some defensive changes. He said they've hurt him on the naked, so what they'll do is try to fill that naked gap in a much better way here in the second half. Also, some injury updates to report for you. 2 starting linebackers for Virginia Tech out right now, Bruce Taylor and Lindell Gibson, both with left shoulder injuries. Taylor is doubtful. Gibson is probable. We'll keep our eye on it, guys.
That'd be a big loss for Virginia Tech. Taylor's their leading tackler. Tyrod Taylor over the middle, caught. Low throw, so Danny Cole had to go down for it. No run after the catch, but he did get 14 yards and a first down out to the 47-yard line.
This is the best that I've seen Tyrod Taylor. Now, it's a little unfair for me because I haven't watched his whole body of work through the season, but the last few games I got to watch on tape, and he is on right now. He's sharp, he's in control, and he's seeing the whole field.
He's hit his last 5 passes. Darren Evans is the running back now behind Taylor. Danny Cole couldn't catch the ball.
I played with a guy who did that, who made the decision to get the tip of his finger up. You may have heard of him, Ronnie Lott.
Yes.
He smashed his finger, wanted to play in the playoffs, and so they said, go ahead, take it off. And so I would sit next to him in meetings, and every now and then I would flick the tip of that finger. It would drive him crazy.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, thank you.
You're a real charmer in those meetings. Pretty much the same in our meetings, come to think of it. Second down and 15. Darren Evans, a short gain. That was similar to the play that went for 51 yards in the first half. Marcus White stopped it for a short gain. This will be a 3rd down and long for the Hokies. They're at the 45. They need to get just inside the 33.
Mark Stoops, the defensive coordinator for Florida State, has been dropping a safety down, and it's been calculated. And there are times when he doesn't, times that he does. That time he did, created the extra man in the box, and was able to set up this 3rd and long.
3rd down's been a key so far tonight for Virginia Tech. Can they keep rolling on 3rd down? Yes, they can if the pass is on target. Cole is wide open. Touchdown, Virginia Tech.
protected in a dropped coverage. And Cole finds himself all alone. All he has to do is make the catch because Taylor did everything that was asked.
45-yard pass to Danny Cole, the junior from Lexington, Virginia. So the Hokies take the second half kickoff and go 67 yards in 7 plays. Chris Hazley's extra point makes it 28-17 Virginia Tech. 3.5 minutes into the second half.
Lots of time. Again, that offensive line provided the time, and Cole provided the score.
Tonight's telecast is also available in 3D on ESPN 3D, brought to you by Sony, and fans here in Charlotte at the Bud Light viewing party are experiencing the latest technology firsthand. I had a chance, Matt, at halftime to go over to our 3D booth a few doors down. Let's look at one of the 3D cameras. I had to don my 3D glasses.
These are just peepers.
You still look marvelous, by the way, and it is really something. If the folks out there have not seen 3D TV, it is worth finding and exploring. And I thank Joe Tessitore and Tim Brown for their hospitality at halftime. Here's LaMarcus Joyner on the return for the Seminoles. Those might be 3D glasses. What do you think?
Those look like more like 4D, whatever that is.
Look like beer goggles. EJ Manuel started and gone all the way at quarterback for Florida State. He runs for 3. Now those two schools have really dominated the history of the Big 8 and then the Big 12. Chris Thompson dropped for a loss by Chris Drager. That's since 1950. Oklahoma and Nebraska combined for 53 conference championships in the Big 8 or Big 12. The rest of the league combined 15.
There have been some of the greatest players in all of college football and pro football who've come out of both those schools.
A great rivalry. Rashad Carmichael did not play at all in the first half. Is on the field now for Virginia Tech. Senior, terrific player, NFL prospect, bothered by an ankle injury. Did practice on a limited basis during the week. He's out there trying to stop this 3rd and 8 for Florida State. Manuel looked like he wanted to run. Throws to the far sideline, short of the first down. Chris Thompson was swung out of bounds by Tariq Edwards, a backup linebacker. Heather mentioned the injury problems at the linebacker spot for Virginia Tech. Heather?
A little bit more on Rashad Carmichael. As you said, he didn't play the entire first half. With about 2 minutes left in the second quarter, the coaches called him down. He tested it and tested his ability to backpedal, and then took the entire halftime to warm up. On Thursday, they found medication that worked better, found a better stabilizing brace, and Bud Foster says when he's on the field, opponents play him differently. They don't attack the boundary as much. We'll see how Florida State's offense changes.
Howell's punt fielded on a hop by J. Ron Hosley. And he's tackled by Mike Harris. Taylor again showing that ability to retreat, get away from the rush. Can he make a play of it? You bet he can. The ACC Player of the Year shows you why. From a huge loss to a first down run to the 50-yard line.
And Sean, as good a player as this guy is and is showing you tonight what he has, that's the same. He's an even better person. We had a great opportunity to sit down with him over the last couple years, and he is just a delight to be around, has an effervescent personality, lights the room up, very bright guy, insightful, and it doesn't get any better than that right now. He is on a roll tonight.
He's a great team leader. He and some of the other seniors called a couple of team meetings after they started 0-2 to make sure everybody stayed together. David Wilson battling for every inch. And Frank Beamer gave those seniors credit and his team credit, Matt. He said, you know, it's 0-2 and you're number 10 in the country coming in. You have very high expectations. You just lost to James Madison. It could go south, and on some teams there'd be finger pointing and dissension. Not on this team, and it speaks to the character of the players.
Yeah, and Tyrod Taylor is the one who spearheaded the whole thing. And Sean, you know, I think the important part of that is, you know, there's all the time guys, they want to have team meetings. There's a lot of rhetoric and nothing gets done. But a guy who takes charge like Taylor did and righted the ship, that's to be commended.
With 2 touchdown passes tonight, he's tied the single season school record of Maurice DeShazo, who threw 22 back in 1993. David Wilson stopped shy of the first down. They'll bring up 3rd down on the long yard. Nick Moody made the tackle.
You know, they continue to rotate through these 3 backs. And David Wilson's turn is right now. We've seen Darren Evans and we've seen Ryan Williams, and all 3 of them have their own unique skills. The problem is none of them have the opportunity to get into the flow of the game and feel of the game. And that's a hard thing for a running back to go in and out like that.
But they do it, and the results are there. They've been an excellent rushing team. Can they convert on 3rd and short too? Yes, and it's Wilson, who's considered the best outside runner of the bunch, but he can go between the tackles. And the job of managing it goes to Billy Height, the longtime associate head coach and running back coach. He predates Frank Beamer, back to Bill Dooley's staff at Virginia Tech, and 33 years consecutively on one staff is the longest tenure of any assistant coach in the country right now. Billy Height, by the way, is not watching the game in 3D. He has a problem with dry eyes, and bright light is particularly bothersome to him. So on his doctor's advice, he wears sunglasses at night, like Corey Hart. Taylor's at 8 of his last 9 passes, going to the end zone again, and Boykin couldn't quite catch it. Great effort on a high throw, but Boykin couldn't come down with it. Despite his enormous hands, he wears size 3X gloves, 3 XXX. I mean, and he rips through those fingers on those gloves.
Well, and he's going to want to have that one back. Yeah, the ball is a little bit high, but Boykin is talented enough to pull that one in. That one just slips away from him as he pulled it into his body because he controlled it at its apex.
You have high expectations.
Thank you.
Not only is he 5th in school history, but he's getting close. He's only 8 away from Ernest Wilford's all-time record for career receptions at Tech. Taylor's short pass to Wilson to the 22. We talk about our visit with Tyrod Taylor yesterday. He's breaking just about every record he could. He's their career passing leader. He has the most rushing yards among quarterbacks, the all-time leader in total offense. He said he talked to Brian Randall the other day. Brian said, leave one record for me, will you? Because a lot of these records belong to Brian Randall. And the one he has left is passing touchdowns. Brian Randall has 48. So Tyrod probably isn't going to get there with only this in the bowl game left. He has a receiver open again. Wilson, touchdown.
That's just a fantastic read by Tyrod Taylor and David Wilson. They bring, again, we saw this earlier, they bring pressure. See it off the corner? Here comes the free guy. Now, you have to keep up the speed of Wilson. We saw it earlier in the game, picked up a big first down, and now it picks up a touchdown. I don't know, Sean, he might go after that 47. He only needs, what, how many more tonight? 5 more?
Yes. 48. 48's the mark for Brian Randall. The extra point up and good by Hazley. And Virginia Tech has the largest lead of the night, 18 points. As they've outscored the Noles 14-0 here in the 3rd quarter. Tyrod Taylor pointed the way. 61 yards in 9 plays. And one thing we've certainly experienced this weekend in Charlotte, the Atlantic Coast Conference does everything in a first-class way. Beautiful banquet last night, the ACC Night of Legends awards given out honoring the outstanding athletes of this year and years gone by. Saw John Swafford, the commissioner, presenting the Player of the Year award to Tyrod Taylor. Congratulations to all the other winners, including the Coach of the Year. Ralph Friedgen did a wonderful job.
Yes, he did.
At Maryland, as they far exceeded expectation. Very nearly played their way into this game. Justin Meyer kicks off. LaMarcus Joyner on the way back for the Seminoles. Nice return out to the 47-yard line. The kicker Meyer made the tackle. That is his 7th tackle of the year on kickoff coverage. He's their 4th leading tackler on the kickoff coverage unit. Not afraid to stick his nose in. Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime of the 2010 Dr. Pepper ACC Championship. Virginia Tech has opened up the lead here in the 3rd quarter. They've dominated this quarter, outscoring Florida State 14-0 here in the 3rd. The Hokies 133 yards of offense in this quarter and 7 first downs, while Florida State had just 6 yards of offense, 0 first downs. The good field position after the kickoff. EJ Manuel bounced off a pile, high throw, caught, first down. 37-yard line. Burt Reed, the junior from Panama City, with a 16-yard connection for Manuel.
A night at the Improv with Manuel. Yeah, he bounces off at Datko, the offensive tackle, but still keeps his eyes down the field. I'm really impressed with him. His ability to find his receivers down the field. You know, he's a big kid, 6'4.5". He's 235 pounds. He keeps his eyes up. Pretty accurate also.
I haven't been able to get him loose in the running game. That was one of the advantages of having him start. He can run, but the Hokies know that, and they stop him for a 2-yard loss. He kept it, and Jack Tyler, another one of those backup linebackers, redshirt freshman, thrust into there because of injuries to starters. He's doing a nice job. Yeah, he's in for Bruce Taylor, who made the big play early. But Tyler is able to make that play because the corner play just was terrific. They took away the outside pitch and forced everything to go, which allowed Tyler there to come inside out and make the play. Bud Foster's defense playing well here in the 3rd quarter. Hasn't been a typical Virginia Tech year defensively. Their numbers and performances down from what you typically expect. Quick pop and too quick for Bo Relaford. Wasn't expecting it. Yeah, that's on Relaford. Because Manuel knew where he had to go. He had pressure. Relaford gets to the inside. The middle of the field is open. And if he gets his head around and is able to make that catch, Relaford could be relevant. When we talk about the defense, each of the previous 6 years, Virginia Tech finished in the top 12 in the nation with that lunch pail attitude defensively in total D. This year, they're 42nd. In the nation in total defense and 7th in the ACC. 3rd down and 12. Manuel throws and has his man Burt Reed to the 20. And another first down for Florida State. Rashad Carmichael made the tackle. 18-yard gain for Burt Reed. And you talked about Bud Foster, their defensive coordinator for Virginia Tech. Well, he brings pressure. You can see Holsey right there in the middle, and then it's Rashad Carmichael on the offside playing off man. Reed just comes back underneath because the pressure came from inside. There's no one there, and it's a first down. Reed has great speed. He's been clocked at 4.3 in the 40. Huge drive for Florida State. Manuel turns the corner, lunging. Didn't get the end zone. Might have had the first down. Davon Morgan stopped him right near the first down marker. That's that Cam Newton look-alike right there. He's got the size. He's a long strider, and he can run away from people. Florida State faithful is going to be very pleased with him in the future. He'll be the starting quarterback almost certainly next year. Ty Jones, who already has a couple of touchdown runs, got the first down near the 1-yard line. And the clock runs under 2 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. We joined us late. Jimbo Fisher made the decision to start EJ Manuel as backup quarterback this year instead of the starter Christian Ponder, who's been battling major elbow problems. On 1st and goal, a spin into the end zone. Touchdown, Ty Jones. His 3rd of the night.
Good awareness. Rolled on top of the tackler. Didn't have his knee down. And spun himself right in. That's Whitley, 15. Spun over the top of him and scored.
Was that kinesthetic?
I don't know if that was kinesthetic as much as if that was just good awareness. Kinesthetically speaking.
Yes. Hopkins the extra point. Well, Florida State responds after the nice kickoff return by Joyner. Dustin Hopkins, will he slip again? Nope, stayed on his feet and hammered it. A yard deep in the end zone. J-Ron Hosley. Oh, great tackle. Shy of the 20-yard line by Terrence Brooks, freshman defensive back. It gets us to the end of the third quarter. The winner goes to the Discover Orange Bowl and is the ACC champion for 2010. First and 10 Hokies, Ryan Williams. And congratulations to Mark Hertzlick and Nate Irving of NC State. They shared the Brian Piccolo Award this year in the ACC. Were honored at the dinner last night for most courageous. Marks had the courageous battle against cancer. A rod inserted into his upper leg, and Irving came back from a very serious car crash to be a big part of Tom O'Brien's 8-win team at NC State this year.
Had a chance to speak with Mark Hertzlick this afternoon. Had a nice little sit down with him. He's excited about getting ready for the National Football League draft. Get ready and feels 100%.
There's a guy you would cheer for. Tremendous person in addition to his football talents. Andre Smith the catch, and he bounced out to the 47-yard line with a first down.
Tyrod Taylor has made every throw that you could want to make tonight. He's thrown the touch pass. He's thrown the deep ball. He's thrown the bullet to the outside and some of the out routes. And that one was just a tiny window inside. He just threw it right where it had to be.
3 touchdowns, no interceptions tonight for Tyrod Taylor. Now 23 touchdowns for the year and only 4 interceptions. Going for the home run ball, looking for Jarrett Boykin, and it is incomplete with Mike Harris in coverage.
And that's one. There's only a few that we've said this about, 3 actually, where he said he's going to want that one back. This is the one deep ball. He just wants to put a little bit more length on it because it hangs up right here. See how he has to slow that down a tad? Boykin goes up, and that's good defense. Look how he gets his hand up there. That is great job by Michael Harris, number 1.
That's hard not to interfere when the ball's underthrown and the receiver stops. Usually the defender runs into him. He gets an interference call. That was great work by Harris, and more good defense as Ryan Williams is tackled on the line of scrimmage. Marcus White had penetration.
We talked about Billy Height, the running back coach, and how he has to get a feel for his runners and how he rotates them through. But, you know, as a fan of college football, I love college football. I would like to see these guys play more, because now it'll help them at the next level because they won't be beat up. But Evans and Wilson and Williams all are really good players, and they don't really get a feel for the game as they go.
11 out of 13 on third down. 5 for 5 in the second half. And again, plenty of time for Taylor. Waits for a man to come open. Danny Cole trying to run away inside the 10.
He's got a lot of time to throw that again, Sean. Good protection by the offensive line again. And then here's Cole, and he's going to run his crossing route. And he just, is a nice pick inside. That wasn't.
They didn't even try to rush. I mean, they're so afraid of him running that they just let him sit there all day and allow receivers to get open.
Xavier Rhodes ran into Michael Harris, and Cole got clean.
For 46 yards, his 6th catch of the night. Ryan Williams stood up at the 5, a gain of 1. Of course, that had been one of the strengths of the Florida State defense this year. Their opponents had been in the red zone 42 times. Mark Stoops' defense has given up only 16 touchdowns this year. That's good red zone defense, not tonight.
And well, he hasn't really run into a player like Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor is hotter than a firecracker tonight. Everything he's done, with the exception of a few throws, have been right on.
They're playing like the conference player of the year that he is. They've been great on third downs tonight. 12 out of 14 for the Hokies. You're going to win when you do that. Taylor zings one, and it's incomplete. Looking for Andre Smith, who they love in the red zone. He came into tonight with 5 touchdown receptions on just 17 catches for the year.
Watch the decision. There's the open receiver, and there's the ball. And that was a great throw. Not a good throw, a great throw. Why? This is a really small window he has to work to get it into, and he hits him right smack dab in the wrong place, the hands.
Well, here's another third down.
At one point, Sean, you're going to have to roll the dice and get pressure after this guy and just take your chances to make him throw something bad.
Well, they've been so passive in their defensive approach tonight. I think the Florida State coaches might kick themselves after this game. Taylor running around. This is what they're afraid of, and he scores. Tyrod Taylor having a great night.
He is putting on an MVP show. They rushed 4. They dropped 8. It's a short field. But he okey-dokes them by drawing the defense to one side and then coming back to the other side and getting his 6.
He's thrown for 3. Now he's rushed for 1 from 5 yards out. And Chris Hazley is on for the extra point. And it is blocked. And the Seminoles have it. Nigel Bradham gets a block. And he is going to score. There is a flag down back at the 8-yard line.
Looks right where the holder was. I wonder if it's not roughing on the holder.
Holding on the kicking team, number 31. That penalty's declined.
Good.
Point is good.
Well, the penalty is on Kenny Younger. Turned down, and a momentum changer perhaps for Jimbo Fisher, the Seminoles. That turns it back into a 2-score game, when it would have been a 3-score game had this not happened. Florida State with the big 2 points, as the extra point from Hazley never got off the ground. Wasn't his fault. Brian Saunders, the holder, dropped the ball. Hazley kicked a grounder into the line. He's missed only 1 field goal this year. That's the 3rd failed PAT. Nigel Bradham brought it back. Hard to believe that's not the first time that's happened in ACC Championship Game history. There's LaMarcus Joyner. Back in 2007, Virginia Tech fans might remember Brandon Flowers brought one back for 2 against Boston College. EJ Manuel, the sophomore quarterback, started for the injured Christian Ponder and has performed pretty well. He slips on this wet grass field as he finished his drop. Tough break for the Seminoles. Ball marked back inside the 33-yard line.
Oh, Sean, it had potential, and you're going to see the slip right here. He doesn't get his feet under him, and it's a shame because he had man-to-man coverage. They'd committed a guy down for a blitz. The blitz was picked up. The middle of the field was wide open.
Loss of 9 on the play. Jimbo Fisher wants him to speed up the operation here. They're just now getting out of the huddle. Certainly don't want to waste a timeout, trailing with 10.5 minutes to go. They get it off hurriedly. Manuel has a man. Relaford, the tight end, with some run after the catch to get him near a first down. To the 48-yard line, they'll need 4 more.
Hey, this Manuel kid, he is impressive. We saw a similar thing a year ago, Sean. Remember, we had Ohio State versus Iowa. And the young quarterback for Iowa put on a show.
James Vandenberg
stepped in
for Ricky Stanzi. The Florida State folks know that EJ Manuel has terrific talent. Led him to a 3-1 record. Last year was the MVP of the Gator Bowl, Coach Bowden's last game, and filled in this year for Ponder and beat Clemson. Quick throw, and they couldn't catch it. It was behind Willie Halstead and a little bit low. And now Jimbo Fisher has a decision to make with under 10 minutes to go, down by 15 points, 4th down and 4.
I'd go for it. That would have been a tough catch.
Great effort.
Good effort.
They are going to go for it. They're 6 for 6 on 4th down this season. Huge play. Manuel with time, high throw, and it's intercepted. Davon Morgan still on his feet. And back to the 35-yard line.
And this is the young mistake. Manuel had him. The ball just took off. He had a guy open inside. Going to come right back inside here. He has him. Now watch the umpire. I'm not sure. Maybe he was trying to avoid the umpire or not. I'm not sure. Yes, it looked like the ball went high. The umpire ducked, but it was there. He missed it high, and now it's going back the other way.
Fifth interception of the year for the senior, Davon Morgan, who brought it back 24 yards. Darren Evans on 1st down to the 30 for a gain of 4.
Evans started to go down and ended up on top of a tackler, potential tackler, and then picked up some additional yardage.
Second and 6, Hokies from the 30 of Florida State after the Virginia Tech timeout. Tyrod Taylor swung down. Great work by the freshman Xavier Rhodes, who stopped it after a gain of about a half yard.
Sean, you and I talked about him this afternoon, and you're watching a film and you're watching just a freshman out of Miami, Florida. He's 6'1", 210 pounds. What a good tackler. He reads things really well. This is going to be a good player, and he's already a good player. He's got a chance to be a stud. Good size, nice and long, could run well, plays zone and man equally well, and the tackling ability is what sets him off.
Another 3rd down for the Hokies. This time they do not convert. They were 12 out of 15 before being stopped there by Nigel Bradham. Darren Evans stopped a couple of yards short. And now a huge field goal try upcoming for Chris Hazley. He's made 19 in a row, which is the single season school record. He missed his first field goal attempt of his career in that opener against Boise State. Hasn't missed since. So this is a 43-yarder on a wet field. We've seen a lot of the kickers slipping. Good snap and hold, and a good kick. He got it. And that is huge. It turns it back into a 3-score game with 7 minutes to go.
20 straight, Sean. And the 21st, the one that he missed, potentially could have changed that Boise game and changed the season for this Virginia Tech team. They played 5 days later and got beat. And since that time, they've straightened themselves out and have played like this all season long. He wasn't.
Justin Meyer kicks off. Greg Reed. Seminoles could use a big return from Reed. Gets to the outside and gets ridden out of bounds near the 36-yard line by Wiley Brown. So Florida State takes over on downs. They still have one timeout left. Chris Thompson got what he could and then ran out of bounds. He had a highlight last week. Chance to talk to his idol Warwick Dunn. We got the Gatorade buckets ready. Don't know if Frank Beamer at age, I don't think anybody, regardless of age, wants a Gatorade bucket on a 30-something degree night. Frank Beamer now 64 years old.
And still as good a coach as he's ever been.
And as good a man as you're going to meet in college coaching as well. Thompson out of bounds the other way.
You mentioned about Warwick Dunn.
They're going to do it.
Yeah. They better bring that little snuggie with him right now. He doesn't even know it.
Oh.
He's going to smile, but inside that smile, he's like, if I find out who did this.
Oh,
that couldn't feel good.
You know he loves everything it represents. There's such affection for this team. And clearly they do for him as well. Taiwan Easterling out of bounds for the first down across the 36-yard line, shoved out by Eddie Whitley. He's had a remarkable career. This will be win number 240. Which will tie him for second among all active coaches in FBS football with Jim Tressel. Behind only Joe Paterno. Joe Paterno is the only coach in the country who's been at his head coaching job longer than Frank Beamer, now in his 24th year at his alma mater after 6 terrific years at Murray State. Well, you and I travel around. We meet a lot of terrific coaches and a lot of great guys, but you know, if you had to pick the list of coaches you like and admire the most, not only for the way they coach, but the kind of people they are, it would be hard to surpass Frank Beamer.
And the way they run their programs and the way they treat their kids and their commitment to them, not only on the field but in the classroom. I think he runs as good a program as there is. There's a short list. You and I have talked about it many times, but Frank Beamer is at the top of those lists.
And on his way to the College Football Hall of Fame someday. And the career of Tyrod Taylor winding toward a close. Mike O'Kane is the quarterback coach. Former NC State head coach. Sports Center coming up next.
What a game he played. Sean, we've had the pleasure of watching him play in some big games. And tonight may have been his biggest.
Chris Thompson might have slipped on the ice out of the Gatorade bucket over there. No, you're right. He was solid in every respect tonight.
He did everything they asked him to do. He was in complete control. We mentioned it earlier. He's as good a kid as a player.
Is he a pro? You think
yes.
He could be an
he's
NFL
a pro
quarterback?
Yes, he will. I don't know how high he'll go. He could be like a mid-round pick because there's some things mechanically. But what he does doesn't always fit at the next level. He'll have to become more of a pocket passer. But there are things that he does that hard to coach against, and that's his ability to take off and run. But he does a nice job of keeping his eyes down the field.
Good throw by Manuel. Burt Reed couldn't quite run under it off his fingertips. The 3rd and 13. Here we mentioned the Hall of Fame. Their annual dinners next week at the Waldorf in New York. Congratulations to all the inductees. And they have the 16 scholar athletes who are going to be honored. Christian Ponder is one of them. He didn't have a chance to play tonight, and I'm sure he's very disappointed. But here's a young man who graduated in 2.5 years. He'll be joined by 15 of the other very best football players and students in the country. And he has the great honor of being picked to represent those 16 scholar athletes who will get postgraduate scholarships. Hopefully he'll get that elbow healthy in time for their bowl game. Manuel throws, caught for a first down. Conversion on 4th down. Burt Reed tackled by Jack Tyler. 8-yard gain. And Tyrod Taylor will be 34-7 as the Virginia Tech starting quarterback. When this one is over, Lonnie Pryor, the fullback, down to the 20. James Hopper, backup rover, made the tackle. We're told the likely opponents for Florida State in the Chick-fil-A Bowl are Mississippi State or South Carolina. It'll be interesting to see how the BCS picking goes. We were talking to some of the Virginia Tech people before about the Orange Bowl. There was some school of thought that if West Virginia was the Big East champion, if Connecticut lost tonight, the Orange Bowl might actually take them because they travel so well, perhaps better than a Stanford team, which would be another candidate to go to the Orange Bowl.
Well, both these teams travel extremely well. Virginia Tech, the Virginia Tech Hokie Nation, they bring everybody.
They came tonight from 2.5 hours away in Blacksburg. Manuel very close to the line of scrimmage. It's caught. There is a flag now. Chris Thompson credited with a touchdown at the goal line, but I believe they have an illegal forward pass across the line of scrimmage.
When we put our line in, now let's see right here. You can see it. Yeah, I think that's going to be a good throw. Ball is foot still there. Ball is out. Ooh, that's really, really close.
I think originally it looked like a good
The entire
pass.
body of the passer was not beyond the line of scrimmage. As a result, it is a touchdown.
For
That's a
Chris
good call.
Thompson. Yep. Don't give Jimbo Fisher credit. We saw this at Oklahoma when they were getting drubbed. They still battle all the way to the end, and they did again tonight. And Manuel winds up with a 20-yard touchdown pass.
He's going to have a lot of good football in him. They're going to be excited and pleased with what he does.
Well, Hopkins on. And the extra point's good. It's an 11-point game. Congratulations to Tyrod Taylor. He's the first player to be the ACC Championship Game Most Valuable Player more than once. He was the MVP when they won in 2008. Congratulations to Boston College.
Yes.
First team in the history of the league to lose 5 straight games and then win 5 straight. They won their last 5 games to become bowl eligible at 7-5. Another great coaching job done in the league this year by Frank Spaziani and his staff. Andre Smith grabs the onside kick.
Well, the oranges are going to be sweet. I can tell you from experience, because that orange I just ate was delicious. And I
That's a
didn't
great
save you
bowl
any.
game. They do a
Yes, it
great
is.
job down there. The Orange Bowl folks, including the Honorable Mayor of the great city of Fort Lauderdale, Jack Seiler, longtime member of the Orange Bowl Committee. Always look forward to seeing Jack. Tyrod Taylor takes a knee, and the highest scoring championship game of the 6 in the history of the ACC Championship has come to its conclusion. And Frank Beamer now 2-8 against Florida State. They had lost 13 of the last 14 against the Seminoles at Virginia Tech. Where they get the win tonight, and well deserved by Beamer, Tyrod Taylor, and the folks from Blacksburg. And as you saw, Heather Cox is with Frank Beamer.
Sean, thanks so much. Congratulations, Coach. ACC Championship and an automatic BCS bowl berth. Coach, with the surprising 0-2 start to the season, how much more gratifying is this accomplishment?
Yeah, I said those 2 losses make these 11 wins seem better. And so proud of our team, proud of our quarterback. Thought he made some tremendous plays tonight, but our whole team, great effort. Just proud to be here.
Is this the most complete performance you've seen out of your team this season?
Well, we struggled a little bit. That's a good team on the other side. You know, Florida State hit us on some plays, and you know, I thought we gave up some, but overall it was great effort. I thought, you know, we don't always play well, but we always play hard, and I thought that was the case for us.
That's certainly a reflection of you, Coach. Enjoy the win. Congratulations.
Final score of this Dr. Pepper ACC Championship: Virginia Tech 44, Florida State 33. The Hokies, your 2010 ACC champions. They win the league for the 4th time in their 7 years in the conference. Coming up next, stay tuned for Sports Center for post-game coverage of this, including the award ceremony tune in to ESPN3.com. Now for Matt Millen, Heather Cox, and our crew, Sean McDonough saying so long from Charlotte, their Sports Center.